I'm Lisa Brown from the Washington State Department of Commerce. Our mission is to strengthen communities. We've been asked to help engage deeply with you to get feedback on a plan known as the Community Reinvestment Plan. The idea is to invest funds in those families and communities that were disproportionately impacted by the so-called war on drugs. We know that those communities, racially, socially, and economically, experienced unequal treatment. And the goal of this plan is to invest those resources in a way that helps to redress that. So thank you so much for your participation in this really important work.
My name is Christina Abbey, and I'm going to do a piece called Say It Loud. And inside of my piece, I'm going to incorporate a profound piece of work by Leslie Honore, because sometimes it doesn't seem like darkness. Say it loud, say it loud, say it loud. Discrimination, disillusionment, disconnection, despair. Now that ain't really proud. Say it loud. It stokes, it chokes, it steals, it kills. Say it loud. What isn't healed hurts, it haunts. Say it loud. Rebuilding without intentionality, reflection and correction is merely an affront. A deep, dark, mean abyss. The ugly and perpetual recycling of benign neglect and malignant disrespect. Say it loud. As loud and poignantly as Blaxican poet Leslie Honore would say in her piece. It doesn't always look like darkness. Disheveled, discombobulated. Sometimes it looks like dance, like joy, like syncopated rhythm, like grace, like choreography, channeling ancestors' dreams. Powerful, successful, enviable. Sometimes we get so good at the act, at the entertainment, at the wearing the mask that we can fool ourselves a little bit, long enough for the public to believe that we have it all together. That airbrushed portrait is real. The Instagram smile is permanent. That the steps aren't automatic. That happiness 24/7 isn't toxic. But the truth is, life is hard. Life is lonely. Grief is too heavy to hold. People don't check on the strong friends, the smiling friends, the dancing friends, the friends who look like they're on top of the world. Looks are often liars. Hopelessness can grow like weeds in the most beautiful garden. It doesn't always look like darkness. And it's so hard to say the words out loud. I need help. This is too much. I don't want to try anymore. Because we clap for the stunning, clap for the performance, and ignore those in pain. It doesn't always look like darkness. Sometimes it just looks like our reflection in the mirror. Sometimes it's just too hard to stay in the light. Say it loud and say it louder so the people in the back can hear what is said. For dying to live is the same as existing to die when a community's soul has already been killed dead. Say it loud. Say it loud. Affection, connection, unity, community is what our people want to see and feel, to survive, to thrive, to heal, for real, for real, for real. Equity, social justice, reparation, repairing the breach now. Say it loud and louder. It doesn't always look like darkness because sometimes it's pitch blacker than any midnight could ever want to be or see. Say it loud.
Of the Harriet Tubman Foundation for Safe Passage. Today, you will see artists from all across Washington State for the Say It Loud, Artist Showcase, and Community Gathering. The purpose for this event is to show new ways of activating community to make real change in Washington State. Now, you're going to meet lots of talented individuals today, and we want to make sure that you make your vote for who you like the best. But that's not the only reason why you're here today. We want you to know about the Community Reinvestment Plan, a plan to change the lives of those who are affected by the war on drugs here in Washington State. We have $200 million, and we need your help directing it. So just like with these artists today, as you choose on who you like and what do you think and what's your favorite, we need you to do that with the work that we're doing. Make sure you go to the WashingtonReinvest.com website, make your vote, and make your choice. So, to start off, we've got Nakari Lomax, a violinist, and he will be doing his version of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On.
Hi, my name is Nakari Lomax. I'm 14 years old. Today I'll be playing Titanic, My Heart Will Go On.
That was an awesome performance. Next we have for you Carlos Martinez, a painter. The painting that Carlos will be showing today is called Brown Boy.
My name is Carlos Martinez. I am from Seattle, Washington, and I am a painter, and this is my work. Well, I started painting when I was 19. I really fell in love with it really quickly, and I had always been a very creative kid. I always wanted to have a life where I was free to be creative, but I didn't necessarily know what that would look like. And just painting felt really natural to me. I wasn't really that good at it, but I had a lot of fun. And so that was kind of like a natural path for me to take on. And for me, a really big inspiration, especially thinking back to little old me, was, still is, representing people who look like me into fine art. Whenever I did have a chance to go to an art museum or an art gallery or see fine art, I didn't really see myself represented or even reflected in the majority of the work. And so I thought, well, I can do that. Why not just put myself onto canvas? And so that really was the beginning of like me figuring out the perspective and my voice as an artist too. And visually, my work has progressed into more of a surrealist style. And this is one of my earlier works that I made, I believe it was like in 2018. It's called Brown Boy. It's acrylic on canvas, and it's 36 square inches. It's one of my bigger pieces. And really the inspiration behind this was my little brothers. They're really beautiful brown little boys. They have really big eyes, especially my little brother, Santiago. And I have always been really fascinated with eyes. A lot of my earlier work has portraits with big eyes in them. They're so expressive, and just wanted to really highlight like really beautiful brown features, like dark brown skin, curly hair, wide noses, brown eyes. And so this is a piece that I created back then, and I really wanted to have the imagery look as if like this child was looking into like the viewer's eyes, with its big eyes, and you don't necessarily know if he is hiding or peeking through or is about to jump out at you. And yeah, it's one of the pieces that I'm the most proud of, and it hangs in my living room. And if ever it was to be sold, it would be really sad, but bittersweet. And yeah, that's the majority of my inspiration. It comes from representing Black and brown boys, people, making sure that we have a space in the art world, and making sure that folks see themselves represented in art. And hopefully I can humbly contribute to that even a little bit.
Wow, brown boy. That was inspired by his little brother. What inspires you? Now, for me, doing community work and changing the world is my inspiration. What is yours? Whatever your inspiration is, follow that dream. Now, next we have Empress Raw with Fade Away.
My name is Empress Raw. I am from San Antonio, Texas, and this is my single, Fade Away. Feels good to be strong. I surrender. I made it all just fade away. It's not a game that I want to play. I surrender. I made it all just fade away to get back to a straighter place. I surrender. I made it all just fade away to a greater place. I surrender, wake up and discern, cause this I've been earned. Coming up with I've been turned with intern. Know that I'm past the intern. Know that I rock no vendor. Filling me up to the tipper. Canceling out all the whispers. They never ended cause I've been heard. The type to pull up in the winter. Keeping you warm, I'm the best fur. But giving it all to myself first. Releasing my hurt so I don't burst. When they gon' learn? Silent maneuver, I'm gone. Played the game and you lost. Was it worth what it cost? Turned out I'm worth more than you thought. Look, yes, I'm a boss. Linked up between flows. Only God knows really how far this thing goes. Conquer my fears with depth to ego. From my lingo, my expressions upon blessings is manifesting while I'm resting. Couldn't doubt it for a second. Forever self is what I'm repping. The top secret weapon, no question. I'm an automatic money magnet. So understand we all abundant fragments. Magic carpet, we don't need a lagging. Forever stars in transit. Ground the past is landed. And know your reality is the only thing you manage. I surrender. I made it all just fade away. It's not a game that I want to play. I surrender. I made it all just fade away to get back to a straighter place. I surrender. I made it all just fade away to get back to a greater place. I surrender. On crown, right now, no fool on your next move. I mean no fool on your next lose. My main clue, your emotional blues. Only committed to bad news. Making sure no red get the bottom of my shoe. Now that's a blues clues. Love isn't cruel and the truth is the jewel. Duality rules in our present like love is a curse and a blessing. But with every lesson I'm progressing. Higher vibe with every session. My expression fresh in every direction. Top notch, only the more after the lesson. Protecting my energy without a question. Let it burn and fade away like confession. Pride got me stressing while I'm flexing. What I'm destined to best in. Whatever my mind set in. Put your hands up and rock. I made it all just fade away to a greater place. Who won't rock with Raw? Come on, rock with Raw. On crown, right now, source the stage.
Wow, she's really great. And as somebody who especially has, a heart for rap, I give her 2 thumbs up. So, never give up on your dreams, especially if you are an artist. There's plenty of resources out there that can help you. And we hope that events like this show you that people in Washington State care. We have a spoken word artist next for you named Wonder with a project titled Me Versus Me.
I'm Wonder, a poet called Wonder, and the piece I'm reading is called Me Versus Me. I am who I am, but what I am is locked away, bound by fear, cautious, calculated, and calm. But she said, what's the difference between Brika and Wonder? And for the first time I faced it. It's a security blanket, a safety measure, a newfound comfort zone, because Brika walks in fear, only peeking at the things he's promised. The truth is taking so long that she wonders, is it just a myth? But Wonder, first name Wondrous, that means wonderful, inspiring a feeling of joy and delight. That's me, ready to take on the world, one smile, argument, or production at a time, ready to do her part, heal, and ask the hard questions, just be me here and now. And how do the two coexist in one body? It's above me, because once you've tasted the addicting flavors of truth, self-love, and joy, it's hard to go back to just existing. I feel like Jim Carrey taking off the mask of survival, and it's showtime. Time to walk bold as the woman my mom and God created me to be. To remember my value, define my standards, and stop pretending that no one sees me. This little light of mine shines bright like a lighthouse, guiding me ashore to my true purpose and authority. There is a time and a place, and it is here and now, because I am who I am. Wondrous beginnings. Thank you.
Welcome back. I just wanted to let you guys know about dreaming. A few years ago, I wrote down my dream of helping folks in Washington make changes. And right now, today, I'm living that dream. So don't stop dreaming. And here's your next creative.
Hi, my name is Joelle Hanton and I own Joelle Hanton Art. I am a painter. I paint realistic style and I do watercolor, I do acrylic, which is what these 3 paintings are. And I just love to paint my dream world. I paint myself. These are actually self-portraits right here, acrylic paintings embellished with gold leaf. And I absolutely love painting cats. Ever since I was young, I've always wanted to be an artist. So that was my dream growing up. And so it's very, very exciting to have my business now. And my goals are to just grow and to show more of my art to more of the world. So I love creating beauty and I love painting nature that I see and animals, and I love sharing that with everyone. So this one is a self-portrait of myself and my cat. I actually painted a Libra star sign in the sky. This one is done with acrylic paint and it has gold leaf embellished within here. So, and then this one is more of like a dreamy painting, not realistic, but this is also a portrait of myself and cheetahs. I love all cats and flowers. So I just try to incorporate flowers and nature and animals into as much of my artwork as I can. And then this one over here, this one is a painting of my smaller kitten, and she's just sitting next to a purple moon and flowers and lots of stars in the sky. So with all of these paintings, I also create prints, I create stationery, and I also do custom paintings. So you can find more of my work at joellehanton.com or Joelle Hanton Art on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. That's all I have right now. I'm not sure what else to say.
You like that, Marnie? Is that good? Yeah, that was short, sweet, shows off the stuff. You went into yourself, you went into the pieces. And
I would like to know more about how you got started.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. I mean, I've been creating art as long as I can remember. Ever since I was very, very young, my parents were awesome and they would put me in art classes and I got to draw and paint a lot at home. And so I've always loved painting people actually growing up, people and cats. Even when I was like 5 years old, I loved doing that. So growing up, I just kind of spent a lot of time doing art. And then once I went to high school, I actually went to Tacoma School of the Arts, which is a really cool art school in Tacoma. It's arts focused, so anyone who's there has a certain arts focus, and we got to spend hours and hours on whatever art we loved. So that was a really, really cool experience. And then after that, I went to college, and then eventually, fast forward a bit, and then I finally got started with my business a couple years ago. I've always been into realistic art, so I will do portraits, I will do like pet portraits, and it's all like very realistic. But yeah, it just kind of, I feel like it's just like a very organic process becoming an artist, just something I always wanted to do, something I never stopped doing, and yeah, that's how it is.
So next we have something totally different than I've ever seen before, but real awesome. We have Me Human, who's a painter, but her canvas is a car.
Hi, my name is Me Human, and I paint art cars. I have done about 8 or 9 art cars. So I paint art cars primarily with One Shot, which is a automotive pinstriping paint. I paint all by hand. My projects generally take me between 20 and 48 hours, with the longest being 200 hours. I got to paint a Mayor Manx dune buggy. I did an Olympic Peninsula mural on it, and I highlighted all of the landmarks there, Ruby Beach and the mountains. And I like painting my car, which is called Elemental State of Mind. I like puns, so Elemental State of Mind is a Honda Element, and it has all 5 elements on it. I got to spend a lot of time putting patterns in the big spaces that other people don't let me do, so I like that one. I painted a monster truck for a local horror writer, and I made it kind of silly and also put some, I don't know what you would call it, just horror elements, horns and bugs and sea creatures. I recently tie-dyed my truck and did a bunch of patterns on that. I love patterns. They calm me. I couldn't afford a collector's car, so I ended up hanging around some collectors, and once they figured out that I liked painting, they gave me some small jobs, and later I ended up, when I got my first car, I pinstriped it. I always put rainbows in my own personal things. So I've done, I don't know, seven or eight iterations of my own cars in different rainbows. I also do not just paint, but I prefer paint. I've done fabric and like sculpture. There are a lot of really cool art artists. I hitchhiked and traveled for about 10 years, and I really enjoyed seeing weird cars. I don't know the artists, just random cars. I like puns. I did an art car that was the escargot, and it was a station wagon with snails with rainbow like fire out the back. I like doing stuff that you couldn't get at a regular auto shop. I've had people ask me to do like the ghost flames and stuff and basic colors, and I won't do it because it's just, you can get them anywhere. Like, I like doing bright things. I like a lot of color. When I first started out people said only trash cars were painted. So now I've started painting nicer cars, newer cars, and the classics. When I traded a paint job for a 1953 Chevy Bel Air, and all the collector guys around basically cried when they found out I was gonna paint it. But that doesn't generally make me happy, but it did. And I started with acrylics. I've done chalk art cars. I have some pretty major learning disabilities and memory issues, so I often forget techniques, but it's pretty fun to just experiment. And obviously we live in a pretty technological age, so YouTube the shit out of everything to learn what you don't know and what you can't experiment with. I actually have never really felt super a part of a community. I've always been a little bit of an outcast just because I like to think about things and I like to figure out new ways of doing things. And my art has been a way to connect with community, because even though I don't particularly like being seen, I like to, with my cars, I leave them in parking lots and I see that they bring people joy. I also blow bubbles out of my rainbow cars and traffic jams and stuff, and I can see the joy that brings. I can see it lift people out of anger and the frustration that we all get in sometimes. So just whatever little part that you do, whatever it is that brings you joy, it can bring other people joy too, and help show them that it really doesn't take a lot to be yourself. So yeah.
Next, we have another spoken word artist named Jamar Smiley with Ode to Water. It's about Seattle and gentrification.
Hello, my name is Jamar Smiley. I'm a performance poet, and what you're going to see here today is just the story of the birth and loss of our people in Seattle, so through gentrification all the way until now, and I hope you enjoy it. The river twists and turns as distance burns a place within the banks. And the many greens that grow within the life that passed from fish to fin now move through channels thick and thin till only few are known and hold a face within the ranks. And now the face of rivers burned move through the phases of live and learn, and life that passed will miss a turn, and fishes skip the history with fire water sipped as tea, and life we know will pass and flow as watered down as tonic. At times, the many greens that grow would filter life to clean the soul. The river streams would teem and glow to show the sky a scene of wonder. Clouds apart remain asunder. Once equipped, we come legit, but now the distance burns in numbers, and anything that lives in thunder once was supersonic. The city was our river, and it carried all the hopes and dreams that one desires. And each domain that filled with life, and every pulse that moved the sky was. And now the bank remains in fire. The city was our river, and we swam from west to south. But as the gentrifier spreads, we watch and stand powerless as the pressure is applied through time. We are Chinook. We flow in droves and leagues and swarms to mold the cast of social norms from anything we think, believe, and breathe into existence. We are Chinook. From ancestral plains before my birth, we give life to everything we touch. There would be no river without us, because pain, war, and segregation fuel the flames that light my spirit, and like a beacon from the night we dance and praise and sing to lobster, shrimp, and crab across the world and nation hear it, and fish will come from leagues away in droves and swarms to show out. And once we get together, we shine as bright as the sun, and from light comes life until the scavengers come. With all their hidden agendas and passive aggression, as they starve at the basin, asking for lessons, and they haven't eaten in days until we feed them. And they love what we've done with this place, how we look, how we eat, how we act, and they want to learn more from our ways, so we believe them. But we just keeping it old school and feeding them soul food, acting in goodwill, so we giving them clothes too. But as we've given them our soul, they still digging for some more, taking everything they can to give it back to their own kind. Because scavengers will never last. They survive off appropriation. And to them, we are just a cultural gold mine. Now the river is in flames, but the fish ain't escaping. And we stuck at the bottom, spread out through the basin. So we climb through the ranks, or we crawl to the banks, and we watch as the river goes through rearrangement. We are Chinook. We go hand in hand with Live and Learn to watch the faceless river burn. And when the river falls, we are the first to pay the homage. But as the river twists and turns, we live inside the mystery, and all will know the history within the river's faces face the fate of the Duwamish. The city was our river, and it flowed with grace through many seasons of the rain, carrying the hopes of Sir Mix-a-Lot and Jimi Hendrix, mixed with Ezel's bones and the smooth tones of Quincy Jones as it roams from the South End to the Central District. And it twists and turns into braids and locks as Black Panthers parade the blocks for Langston, Dixon, Medgar Evers, read the facts to get the weather, or watch as we flow into pieces blended through the sound. Listen close, and you can hear the river cry. The broken heart of generations bleeds into every gas station and street corner, every high-rise and subsidized housing building where each family has 5 to 6 mouths of children, every token Black kid in a private school that is scared of embracing their pride and rule. Every bus that you take is a major pain as it rolls through the hood, because it ain't the same. All the places you go when the party was over got turned into CrossFit, Pilates, and yoga. All the summers we spent hooping 3-on-3 cut short by the hours at PCC. All these people locked up and they stuck for life for the same bags they selling at Uncle Ike's. And the next block over, they ask you, what should we do about the place where Red Apple was? But what about all the salmon? What about all the salmon that swam through the dam in the distance while dipping and dodging the planning, turning through currents and moving through wires while twisting and turning and burning desires, inspired by legions of doom of the century? Empathy enters the river as mystery, mixing with Mr. Miyagi and no teriyaki and sake in pockets of Holly Street. Honestly, we let the fire defeat us by helping the ember grow into a fetus, to feed us the flames of rivers and banks that crumble with pressure and time. And if we continue to fuel this flame and not stand together to build on our trust, then all our pain and tears through all these years will be packaged and sold at Starbucks.
We have another spoken word artist, and this is the project called The Mud.
My name is Stephanie Hodges, and my piece is called The Mud. Before the seed was planted and before the sun shone, I was told there was this place prepared for me on the right side of God's throne. And they tell me Jesus stands in place and he's holding it for me, waiting for the time when I give up, become the seed. But Lord, I already feel so small. I mean, how much lower can I go? How is it that the mud is where you tell me I will grow? How is it that the dirt is where you tell me to go? Away from light, out of sight, alone there down below? I mean, I love you, I'll go. But how could you not see that there's no air down here for me? That I'm alone, that I can't breathe. If you leave me down here, I'm sure I will die. Lord, please, please, don't bury me alive. Lord, it's been a little while. I'm still lonely, and it's dark, but warmer than I thought it'd be, and more air than not. And I haven't gone hungry, Lord. I thank you for that. And while I hear the enemy above, down here he can't seem to attack. I guess I'll get some rest since there's nothing else to do. But I must admit, I'm starting to feel safe down here with you. Lord, look. Did you see that? Something's happening to me. Something's poking out of the side of my seed. I'm growing, Lord. I'm changing in all ways. I see now that you buried me because your soil saves. I'm so excited, Lord. There's so much more room left to grow. I wonder what I'll bloom to be. What will my harvest show? Maybe I'll be a mighty oak. Maybe I'll be a sunflower. Maybe I'll bear fruit that when they eat, they feel the power of the soil I was buried in when I learned to rest in you. And maybe when they eat my fruit, they'll turn to seeds too. And this time they won't be afraid. They've had this taste of trust. Only you knew that through my darkest times that they would gain so much. So I'll be patient while I'm buried, and I'll trust in your commands, knowing that I'm safe inside the mercy of your plans. Lord, you till, and I'm impossible to kill. Because before the seed was planted and before the sun shone, there was this place prepared for me on the right side of your throne. And though Jesus stands in place, I know he's saving it for me, waiting for me to finish planting all his seeds.
There are a variety of ways to participate in the Community Reinvestment Fund. One of those ways is our Friday lunch hours, where community members can come ask us questions about the Community Reinvestment Fund and also give suggestions and ideas on the best way to utilize $200 million to repair communities affected by the war on drugs. You can sign up for this community lunch hour at the website wa-reinvest.com. And a showcase wouldn't be a showcase without a singer, so we're bringing to you Talia with Elusive.
Can I sing with the flashlight?
You don't need me anymore. It feels like you only need me when you're torn. Don't wanna be near, wish I could feel you. Yes, I'll forgive you, but I am still healing too. Your love was all I've ever known. You stayed strong, way too strong. Wish I could go back to when the illusion was better in real life than my mind. Waited to meet you halfway. You swam away, thought we'd find a way. Sometimes it's hard to stand you, yet I can understand you. I was like a bandage for you. I would take the damage for you. Watch them take advantage of you. Handled it all, handed to you. You did all you felt you could do. Ooh, all you felt you could do. Maybe we just need a break. Maybe it's a give and take on a need-to-know basis, but I can't fake that. I love you the most, cherish you, hold you close. I cannot fake that I love you the most. It feels like you don't need me anymore. It feels like you only need me when you're torn. No, I overreact. And you just want the best for me. Yes, I'll forgive you, but I am still healing too. I'm still healing.
Tubman Foundation for Safe Passage, along with the Department of Commerce, working on this reinvestment plan, is thinking different about community, really getting to listen to what's happening from the folks who are being affected. Many studies, many projects have been done across Washington State, but we're not really sure if people have been listening to constituents. And what we've done differently in this project than many projects is that we have enlisted community researchers. And when we say researchers, we're not talking like they don't have all doctorates and all that stuff. They're people who actually have lived experience. That's what's different about this project. We want people who've been affected by the war on drugs to be able to find solutions so that we can fix the damage that was caused by the traumatic experience of drugs in our neighborhood. Community Reinvestment Plan wouldn't be a plan if it didn't include you. And that's why we need you to be involved. Now, we have a variety of ways for you to contact us, whether it be email, text, or actually even videoing us. So if you don't know, go to wa-reinvest.com and make sure that your voice is heard. Next, you have a really amazing creator named Jacob Johns.
My name is Jacob Johns, and I'm an artist and an organizer. My work stems from my own life experiences and those that led my thoughts to feel our connectivity as sentient beings on this planet, simply because humanity around the world will recognize a facial feature. If you do a really good eye or the perfect shadow cast upon a nose, we can see familiar features in ourselves. We are the Earth. We are an extension of the planetary consciousness, but humanity itself is facing a crisis like we've never seen before. Prevention time is running out. It is our duty to remind humanity that our shared future is at stake as a species, and we will save ourselves.
When I was little, I used to have a lot of dreams. And I didn't think anything of it. Everybody would tell me, "Oh, they're just dreams. You know, you're just having a nightmare." But whenever I would go to sleep, I would wake up and I would be in another time, and I would be experiencing another life. And it was sometimes not good. Sometimes it was really bad. And I started to keep having these dreams, and they were really intense. One time I dreamt I was this deer. And I was really happy to be this deer. I was playing, and I was so happy to be back into life, and I was so excited. I was just running around and being a deer and walking places and just living in the forest. It was so good. And one time I was out and I was walking through the forest with my mom, and I was looking for some food to eat. And I came across this weird place in the forest. It was all blank. So I followed my mom across this place, and then all of a sudden, something happened, and I didn't know what. And I was trying to get up. I didn't know what to do. Everything was confusing. You know, I looked up. There was somebody above me. And then everything started to fade away. About 25 years later, I was driving down the forest in Washington State, just driving, you know, and I turned a corner and I hit something. And when I looked, it was a little deer, and the baby deer was trying to get up, and I couldn't help it. It was hurt. And so I looked down and I saw this big rock, and I had to put it out of its misery. And so I came over to that poor baby deer, and I just wanted it to stop suffering. And it was at that moment that I remember dreaming being the deer dying. And it was only through a series of deep meditations that I realized that every murder is a suicide.
Next, we have the singer Ashley Maddox with a song called Blues.
Burning bridges down in town. Come on, baby, take that bow. You're always drowning in the clouds. Can you find your own way out? Out of the darkness into the fields of dancing women. Fire on hills, lights flashing. Your voice is free. Flying high, your soul's to breathe. Transcend these times. Nothing more, you're on your side. Oh no, no more sad goodbyes. Oh no, no more empty skies. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on. Trees full, wildflowers bloom. To the underworld ensues. Her mind's a mess, but she can't miss. Sailing on her river Styx. Is her mind just too broken to fix? All those days she's dreamt of this. Dark above and so below. Just watch the way her river flow. Transcend these times. Nothing more, you're on your side. Oh no, no more sad goodbyes. Oh no, no more empty skies. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on. The night goes on. The night goes on. The night goes on. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on. Dancing these blues, tear her apart like these animals do. Tell her lies like you love to do. Make her strong, push her along. The night goes on.
I want to share a poem I wrote with you many years ago that helped me, on a daily basis. And it is, life is like a staircase. You can take the stairs by leaps and bounds, but you're bound to slip and fall back down. But if you take each step one at a time, you can hold on to the rail. Next is the photographer Laura Johnson presenting her work.
Hi, my name is Laura Johnson. I entered the showcase because I'm doing some project with art and with music. And some of the reasons I got into this was because I've had a very interesting time growing up. I was in the foster care system. And when I graduated, I was kind of having some difficulties doing a lot of things. And I finally got to graduate from college back here in September and at the Evergreen State College. And they actually have some of my artwork featured there for the First Peoples program. But yeah, I think my favorite piece is probably, I have a piece where I have like an angel and it has a bunch of words. And the reason that one's my favorite piece is because it's kind of all the things that you think of when you have anxiety, depression, PTSD that I have. I've been through a lot, so I didn't even know I had PTSD, and I'm also ADHD, and I just recently found out as an adult. So you don't really think about things you go through until you get older. I found that out because I have 2 children that are 12 and 14, and one of them's autistic. So there's a lot of stuff that you learn about yourself when you have kids that go through these kind of things. Besides that, I'm just happy to be in this program, and I'm going to be featuring different photos I've taken from around the city in Olympia, Washington, and some artwork that I've made myself. I started with painting in high school, actually. I had a really nice high school teacher that was like, oh, hey, you're pretty good at art, and then just gave me Prisma color pencils. And then I started drawing and painting from there. And for photography, I've just always liked taking pictures of things. I think it's like when you go through a lot of trauma, you always want to have memories of stuff. When I was 4 years old, my house burned down. And so we lost all our photos, and my dad had passed away when I was 12. And so when you don't have any photos of somebody that was really important in your life, you start to take photos of things that matter. About 3 years ago this month, actually. And he went through the foster care system, and it didn't go well on his end. So having photos of things that matter are really important. I just like to look at different things. Like I know that we have the Olympia Arts Walk downtown, and it's constantly changing, and I really like taking photos of the artwork that's posted there. But besides that, I just like doing art in general when something inspires me. Some of the stuff I do is in color pencil, some in regular pencil. I have oil, pastels, and a bunch of different medium that I like to use. Plus I can also do sculpture and sing. So I'm just one of those people that likes the art type of things. I know one of my art pieces is a girl that's sitting in front of a sunset, and her hair is different colors. Half of it represents just LGBTQ in the general sense, and then the other half of her hair is the colors of the bisexual flag, because that more represents who I am. I also did a depression piece because I've struggled with depression off and on for years, and I'm starting to get it under control a little bit better. But being a mom, you go through postpartum depression, and most people don't understand it. And then you kind of become a different person. And so it's been a challenge to completely change what I think about things, but I'm getting better at it. I most look forward to just inspiring others to share their stories and just be creative and don't fit into a box of what artists should be. Everybody's going to do something different, and it's not all going to look the same.
Hi, this is Miss Jessie again, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about the Community Reinvestment Plan. Now, we have $200 million, and we want to make sure that that money is used to address the racial, economic, and social disparities in communities that were affected by the war on drugs. Now, I myself grew up in the hilltop of Tacoma back in the early 2000s, and I very much know the effects of drugs in your neighborhood. And for me to be standing here today, 20-some years later, and being able to fix that is a very important job, but it can't be done by one person. We need your help. We need your advice. We need your suggestions. We need you to let us know how you have been affected by the war on drugs, then and now. So please make sure that you take time and go to the website and have your voice heard so that we can spend this money in the best way for Washington State citizens.
Dejo tus ojos azules, dejo tus labios rosados, dejo el campo sereno, porque me voy para siempre. Dejo a los niños hambrientos, dejo a mis padres queridos, dejo a mi gran compañero, porque me me voy para siempre. Dejo la vida segura, dejo mi tierra querida, dejo a mi Dios protector, porque me voy para siempre. Porque me voy para siempre, como los conquistadores que buscaban nuevas tierras para forjar nuevas vidas entre la tierra incógnita de un mundo desconocido. Yo ya me voy para siempre, como el soldado que marcha al campo enemigo y reñido y deja su cuerpo tendido en dos pedregales sangrientos. Así me voy para siempre, mas los recuerdos se quedan en tu memoria candente como estrellas que iluminan tus largas sendas humildes. Ya nunca me olvides, mujer, que aunque no esté cerca de ti, mi alma se une contigo y se unirá para siempre. Dejo tus ojos azules, dejo tus labios rosados.
Wow, we've had a great collection of creatives today. And, being a creative myself, it is just so important that we have space to share the work that our talented individuals have. So I want to thank everyone who submitted for this project and everyone who was able to show on our platforms. We have so many talented individuals here in Washington State, from artists, painters, and spoken word. I mean, I hope you've enjoyed it. And what I need from you to do right now is vote. Take the time and vote. Check the link and vote. You are very much thanked for your participation, and we look to see you at our next event.
A plan without action leads to dissatisfaction. So let us follow our passions and build something everlasting. Truly invest in our communities, coming together in unity, erasing disparities, identifying the real needs, creating opportunity for us all to be free, financially, physically, mentally, and more, showing support, producing long-term impact that can be felt by entire generations. It's an obligation to create environments of equity, funding entities that aid in achieving these things, economic development, legal assistance, community safety, and reentry. Dispersing these funds will help us get to where we want to be, reversing the effects the war on drugs had, fostering the good, correcting the bad, building change that lasts and can stand on its own. We all deserve a place we can call home. Race should not be a factor. We cannot afford to go backwards. We need all hands on deck. This is about more than a check. coming together to produce something better. The plan is to reinvest. Our communities deserve what's best, so let us use these resources and make progress.